Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Shh, don't tell nobody. We're not gonna tell Brother George. Oh, that. Huh? What words are reversed? Because Google Plus just mirrors it mirrors. Yeah. Nobody else seems to do that, just Google Plus. Yeah, so I don't know why. To be honest with you. But it come out right though. You know what I mean? Because they do that every There's two ways. It might be because they can look at you. The fact that they got some type of program where you look back at them. Yeah, right. Well, let's see. Sure, you gonna have to work off this. Look, unless you want to work off this. You see what that is right there? Yeah, that's what I was doing on Bible study, but I was keeping up. The class, but and typing over there. No, this is malfunction. Like for example, okay, let's see, let's go lower third. All right, see, cause I kept up with you. Except one time I went outside to do something, and therefore, all right. So let's go up here. Let me change this to 5 stuff. So you got. Oh no, I'm not. She doesn't. Yeah, you can't do it. Like you gotta literally like. Oh, I was at the wrong one.
Where's our laptop?
Yeah, I grab the other one, but I ain't. Yeah, you got the other one there. Yeah, you got the same program with that. This is what I was literally doing.
Yeah, I loaded it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna cut this off. And once you get yours going, then we'll start. What is this? I'm cutting it all the way off. Yeah, oh. Okay, well, it's right. I was already working.
Yeah, that was it. I had a little bit of
oh, I got you. Yeah, but we ain't gonna. I'm not gonna talk about it. Nah, for some reason I made what's name wrong. The keypad, I have one in mind.
Yeah, you good. I'm be sending this.
A lot of sitting at the wall. Yeah, I can learn a lot listening, but you're not chopping. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna go ahead and get started with Bible study. We have to cut down your false prophets on your phone. And I'm gonna go ahead and make the rules of open up.
Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us of our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. No, so you tried to do last time. Yeah, I got to read.
Oh yeah, I read that.
I'm gonna read it too, though. Messing with you. All right, y'all.
Remember Joe did it at
And,
Joe did that.
oh yeah,
He's like now.
yeah, he is. All right, it's a pleasure standing for y'all for Bible study today. Got any questions?
Yeah, I have one. When did marriage between a man and woman come into effect?
That's a very good question. All right, so let's go. Marriage between a man and a woman. When did it come into effect? Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. We'll look at Genesis chapter 2. We'll look at Genesis 2, and then we'll look at. I can show you the first time we see a ceremony. Where? All right, we'll look at those two things. Genesis, and the question is, when did marriage actually come into effect? And I know at my wedding, one of the elder brothers taught a lesson at my wedding, and this is where he started. You know, this is where marriage starts. We're gonna look at Genesis chapter 2, and let's start at verse 18. Genesis 2 and 18. Go ahead, bro.
And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him and help meet for him. And out of the ground the Lord formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
So when God made Adam and Eve, He really made them to have dominion over the whole earth, and that's something that we gotta understand. And really, He made Adam or man over the whole earth. And it's funny that He did that because man is what ultimately is the only thing that's destroying the earth. The lions and tigers and the bears, as vicious as they are, they're not destroying the earth. But at any rate, go ahead. Verse 1. Thanks.
And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an help meet for him.
All right. So what we see here right now, it's just Adam and all these animals. Read some more.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man.
Okay.
And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones.
So understanding that Adam got dominion over the whole world, he's the authority right now. It just sat there and named all the animals, and like he's the boss of the planet. So after the Lord gave him this woman, he recognized the fact of so, and he said, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Go ahead.
And flesh of my flesh. She called because she was taken out of man.
So this still Adam, and you gotta understand something. A lot of times we don't catch this when we look at Adam. But Adam really is the first preacher in the Bible. So we don't catch that a lot of times. Adam is the son of God, and he had access to the tree of life. Now he messed up that access, but he still is a son of God. So he still had to get the words of life. So what he's giving you here is good doctrine. So he said, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She should be called woman because she was taken out of the man. 24, read that.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
And that's what's real key here too. Now this is saying that he's saying, therefore, this is the rule to it. A man and a woman, they're gonna leave, they're gonna leave their father and their mother, they're gonna be one flesh. It's only one way you can be one with another individual, really. And that's what makes that whole other aspect, that homosexual aspect, just totally an abomination. That's what because it's not natural, it's not proper. So let's go, we're gonna look at a couple more scriptures. Let's go over here to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, I think. And, if you're not familiar, I'm gonna tell you that by the time we're done, we should have a better understanding of, like where is this marriage house is. But that was really the first marriage, and it was really sanctified or instituted or done first by God for making this woman, but then Adam made the vow upon it. Like, you know, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And now should a man and a woman, they lead a parent, and now we become one flesh. So that, you know, like Adam put his word, it was nobody else. You know, he didn't need no witness. You know, God be his witness, obviously, because God told the story to Moses. You know, so he didn't need no extra witnesses. He didn't know power. The power invested in him was the fact that the Lord had just gave him dominion over this whole earth and told him name all these animals. You know, now you got this wife that I actually took out of you. He named her too. It's one, and that's what we're gonna do with it. But we're gonna look at this here too. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and let's start reading that verse 15. 1 Corinthians 6 and 15. You get there, go ahead.
Now know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ. The members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot.
So notice what he's saying here. He's like, yo, you know, your body is a member of Christ. So just like, you know, Adam is, you know, the son of God. That's who God made. So, you know, this is kind of like, let's say, side note, or we just building, we putting pieces together so we can get a comprehension of this whole little institute of marriage in the fifth scripture. But go ahead. Verse 15. Yeah, verse 15.
Know ye not that your bodies are the members of
Do it
Christ?
like movie, man. Go ahead and read.
Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot? God forbid.
Read verse 16.
What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body?
So this is now, so we talking about something here that their relations is making you one, which we saw all the way back in the Garden of Eden. So in this case, though, it said, know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body. So that means you making yourself one with a harlot. That's the move you gonna make. Okay, well, go ahead.
For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
So, and now we're going all the way back. It's saying what two said he shall be one flesh. You know, that's what it's saying. Like, you two should now be one. You know, so it's more than just the vows that make all this 100% proper. And what I mean by that is because we're going to read somewhere else in a second where it's more than just the vows. You know, the vows are very important. That's putting your word on it. But, you know, like we say, actions speak louder than words. So it don't need to just be words that's put on this. Go ahead, sister.
It's marriage like that.
We're gonna see all of that. We're probably gonna do 6 scriptures, maybe 7 total. But we're gonna move quick, but it's because it's not really hard for us to see. I just want to make sure we got some pieces put in here where we can get a good understanding. Really makes the actual, you know, makes you married. You know, what do you do? What process? You know, what is marriage? You know. So go ahead. It says, but he that is joined, no, it said, well, know ye not, verse 16, he which is joined to a harlot is one body, for two saith he shall be one flesh. Verse 17.
But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
So and that's something else we bring it into this equation. He said, he which is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. And just like if a woman is joined into the man, they're one. Because that's where we're going to get to what you were saying about the covenant part. That, or is this a covenant? Right, because we're going to show the Lord marrying us when we're done. By the time we're all done. And we're going to see the comparison of what a marriage is. Okay? Let's Corinthians now. Let's skip over to chapter. Skip over. Yeah. Like I said, we'll build all Testament finalized. Start at verse. Not concerning the things where it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Now they wrote the Corinthians, and this is right after that chapter of your body being saying, well, it's good if a man, and that is good. Like, you know, when we say it's good, we're not talking about a married man. You see, because we're gonna see what it is about a married man. We talking about it's good for an unmarried man not to touch a woman. But go ahead and read some more.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
Go ahead.
Let the husband render to the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband.
So notice what it's saying here now. You know, it's saying the man and the woman, you know, the woman is supposed to make sure that she ain't trying to hold out on the husband and vice versa. You know, make sure they giving you the due, but do as in what's owed to you. So we tapping shoulders. Go ahead and read it.
The wife have not power of her own body.
And notice here, this is all part, you know, like when you say, well, what is marriage? You know what I'm saying? We got to include all of this, all the small details about it, you know what I'm saying, to get a full understanding. So it says the wife have not power over her own body. That means that how these people in America like to say that the woman can go say, well, he raped me. You know, they say that now. They say between, well, the reality is she don't even have power. Now, it don't mean that she ain't say, no, I'm not going on that level. What I'm saying is that according to what we're reading here, you know, because y'all supposed to be acting right. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, you know, so I'm not trying to say that no woman has been raped by her, you know, I'm not trying to go there with it. What I'm saying is if everybody acting right, ain't no such thing as you know, my husband rape. No, your body don't even belong to you. What you holding out or something, you supposed to. So the one reason why it's two reasons why you should be where you should be holding out. One, we're gonna read, and two, is because of a woman on her cycle. And we got, you know, a law that's in there saying how long we not supposed to have relations. All right. So at any rate, he said the wife has not power over her own body, but the husband. Go ahead.
And likewise also the husband has not power over his body, but the wife.
Keep reading.
Defraud ye not one another, except it be for consent with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency.
Okay, so basically what it says is y'all ain't supposed to be holding back on each other. That's what this is saying. We're gonna build on some more now. Let's go to 2 Corinthians real quick. No, chapter 11. We're gonna stay here in 1 Corinthians. And we're gonna go to and then we're gonna go to the Old Testament. So we're going to 2 Corinthians chapter 11, and then we're gonna go to the Old T. I'm sorry, I keep saying 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and let's start at verse 3. Start at verse 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. When you get there, go ahead.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and that the head of the woman is the man.
Okay.
And the head of Christ is God.
So now, and he gave you the order, you know, from bottom up. But the reality is, if the head of the man ain't God, then really everything going down is not gonna function right properly. You know, so you know, you gotta keep that in mind. But that's the protocol. Say, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. So go ahead. Well, skip that verse. We ain't gonna deal with that. Verse 5.
But every woman that prayeth.
Oh no, we don't want that either. Let's get down to verse. Verse 8. Verse 8.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
So we see here that the man, it said that the woman was created for the man. And we saw that when we was looking at Genesis. The Lord said it's not good for man to be alone. So this woman, it was put here to be a help meet for her husband. That's all. I mean, when I said it's all she was put here for, hey, it say even later that, you know, she was supposed to be saved in childbearing. Now, when I say, well, you know, I'm not trying to diminish the role of the woman. You know, you can go read in Proverbs 31 and you'll see that the woman plays a major role. Heck, you know, the woman played a major role. Look at Isaac, you know, with Jacob and Esau. You know, she so it's not that she don't play a major role, but the fact still remains that there's an order to marriage. And it goes from the husband to the wife or to the kid, or God, you know, the father, the son, to the husband, to the wife. That's the order here. All right. So let's go look at some of this Old Testament. Let's go look at one of the first marriages that we can see in the Bible. We're going to go to Genesis chapter. Now, when I say one of the first marriages we can see, the first marriage actually was at Adam and Eve. But when I say one of the first marriages that we can see, where we can actually see what we like to call a ceremony, because we know that Jesus was at a wedding, he turned water into wine. So we know at some point they was having some ceremonies. So we're going to see one of the first ceremonies that we're going to find. I think this is Genesis chapter 39. I think that's what we want. Yeah. Chapter 39. We're going to learn a couple things here, and then we're going to go to Exodus, and then we're going to Ezekiel, and then we'll open back up the floor. Yeah. Genesis chapter 39, and let's pick this up at verse Genesis 29. I'm sorry. I'm in 29. I apologize. Genesis 29. See, what had happened was right about now, I would be headed back to the airport. Right. See, so I'm still somewhere else right now. Genesis chapter 29, and let's pick it up at verse. Let's pick it up at verse 8. So this is about Jacob. Now Jacob, for us to know, that's the father of us all. That's the father of us, all of us Israelites. You know, he 12 tribes. It's Jacob. Okay, so he's gonna end up having 12 sons and maybe just one daughter. All right, but go ahead.
And they said, we cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the whale's mouth. Then we water the sheep.
Okay, so we leaving one story, but we're gonna get into the heart of what we're talking about. Go ahead.
And when he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his brother, the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the whale's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother.
So, you know, he watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother, but, you know, Raquel, she keeping the sheep. So really, you know, he tried to show off a little bit, you know, like how you do, because he digging it off the bat. Okay, read this next verse, watch.
And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept.
Yeah, so that's some deep love, kiss and cry. So, you know, this is how Jacob was feeling about, right? Yeah, like kiss and cry. So, you know, that's some deep love. But that's what he did here. So, and this is how he feeling about her off the rip. Keep reading.
And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house.
Go ahead.
And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month.
Go ahead.
And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art mine, shouldst thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be?
Go ahead.
And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name was Rachel.
All right, so now we're getting to the meat of the story a little bit here. But I wanted to give you the build up in the intro because I wanted you to see it. Like Jacob was living here with his uncle for a month, you know, but when he saw Raquel off the rip, he was like, I want that. But what we're gonna learn is he waited on it. And that's something that we, especially us youth, I guess, really we only got a couple of youth in that. But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to wait. And we're gonna find out who running this show though. And that's very important because there's no such thing as a marriage without it being sanctioned by somebody. We're gonna see who sanctions this marriage. So whereas we might be like, well, yeah, you know, I went back and, you know, me and such and such did such and such. Yeah, y'all did something y'all ain't had no business doing. Now what you gonna do though? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see what we're talking about in that case too. Well, let's keep reading though. Go ahead. Leah was tender-eyed. No, and Laban had 2 daughters. Start at 16 again.
And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored.
Yeah, Leah didn't look too good. Go ahead.
And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve these 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
So he been here for a month, and he like, man, I'll work 7 years for this child, your younger one. Well, go ahead.
And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me.
Go ahead.
And Jacob served 7 years, and they seemed unto him for the love he had for her.
That's right.
And Jacob said unto him, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her.
So he hadn't had any relations with this woman yet. And he ain't just taking her to the back barn and like he's trying to sneak or nothing. He's going back to the daddy who's in charge right now of this woman. And that's what we're going to read. You know, he got a rule in the law there. And he like, well, give me, I don't work for her for 7 years. Give me this woman now so that I can go ahead and start this covenant that I'm supposed to be with her. Go ahead, read some more.
And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast.
So here go the wedding right here. That's what this is. Like you asking for my daughter, so now we're about to have a feast. Because it's a wedding, I'm giving her away. So a celebration. That's right. Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him. And he went unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. What is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me?
Now pay attention to what Laban gonna tell him. Go ahead.
And Laban said, it must be done, it must not be done so. It must not be so done in our country. Give the younger before the firstborn.
Right here. He say, my law say that the older, and the reason I say we're going here, and this is the first marriage, but who is in charge of the rules to this marriage? It's the father. And we're going to see real quick. Go into the book of Numbers. End up giving, he's going to be younger. He's going to work 7 more years. He's going to end up giving the younger the bad name. But these women, these girls, belong to their dad. All right, let's go over the Numbers. I think we're on Numbers chapter 9. I think. Maybe not 9. Let me see. Maybe you should do it. If a man by to the Lord. Oh, Numbers 30. Did you just say 30? No, sir. Oh, Numbers 30. That's what we want now. We want Numbers 30. That's my fault. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. My fault. Oh. Just believe it. You mind text my wife to tell her it's Israel, the Church of Jesus at 9 page. Please. Yeah. All right, Numbers chapter 30. And we're going to start this off at verse 1. Numbers 30, I think we're on verse 1. Yeah. We're on verse 1. So all this things is being married. After we go here, we're going to and we'll open back up questions. We ain't going to do the round. As we got more questions. But go ahead. Do Numbers chapter 30, verse 1.
Moses spake unto the heads of the tribe concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded.
Go ahead.
If a man vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath so with a bond, he shall not break his word.
That's why your yay is supposed to be yay and your nay is supposed to be nay. You ain't gotta swear by nothing. If you go, like when you go to court. When I go to court, and they say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I say, I will tell the truth. Like, I'm not about to swear by it. Like, no, I'm not about to swear by nothing. You just, but instead of me debating the cause, which, well, I don't swear it's against the Bible, I just respond, I will tell the truth. Because that's what we're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be telling the truth. And that's what this is like. So you don't swear by nothing. You know, like you can't, because only person that can be swearing about something is God himself. Because he's the only one that can make some change. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the author, an architect of all this. All right. So it said the Moses spake to the heads of the tribes of Israel concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord thy God from if a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with the bond. Go ahead.
He shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth.
Keep reading.
If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth.
Go ahead.
And her father hid a vow, and her bond wherewith she have bonded her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at it, then all her vows shall stand. And every bond wherewith she have bonded her soul shall stand.
So we'll use this for an example. We're gonna pick on Brother Nate, Sister Jordan. So if Jordan say I'm gonna fast, and Brother Nate hears it, and he don't say nothing, then Jordan's supposed to keep her word. She's supposed and now her word is bond, because she said it and her daddy didn't disannul it. Okay, but what we're gonna learn here is the man got what we like to call veto power. Since come home, yeah, my wife come home, yeah, I'm gonna give Sister Malia $5. No, you ain't. I have that authority according to the scripture, according to the way God set up the order. Now, before we read this, I just want those brothers to understand, don't be no fool. No great company ever run with a dumb boss. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not about that. It's not about you being an idiot. It's about that still every company has an order. That's all it's about. I'm just showing you in a simple way the authority in how this works. Because remember, we read that the woman was made for the man. So that was the order of it. But if my wife is better at finances, then she gonna keep books. You see what I'm saying? I would be a fool to be trying to keep the books when she can keep them a whole lot better. You see, so this is not about being stupid. This is about having order and who the ability is gonna fall when it fails. See, yeah, that's what you say. That's well, we're gonna continue to see exactly, because the sister's question was, what is marriage? So we're gonna make sure because after we leave here, we're gonna leave 2 more other places that's gonna help us see a little more with marriage. In here is that holds the vows of the daughter. So this is why in weddings, you see, traditionally the father giving the daughter away. Or we know traditionally that, you're gonna go ask the daddy, can I get your daughter's hand in marriage? You see what I'm saying? Because traditionally, that's the authority here. So when we go back to that first wedding that we saw that there was an authority there. And the authority was Laban. And that's why Laban had the authority to say, and I keep using that word authority because we have an authority here in this land. You see what I'm saying? Which is your local government. You see what I'm saying? Now, your local government gives your pastors, our pastors, like when Brother Danny, when he came down here and married me, he literally had I'm a minister card. Like they got minister's card. The government recognizes our ministers. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, our ministers do have the authority, even though because we come from God. But there has to be an authority. Meaning what's not supposed to happen is 2 people just decide to take a trip to Las Vegas and then go and get a room and then walk out the room and be like, we married. By who? How does this happen? You need to go do something to be married. That's what we get now. We're gonna read that after we read this. But let's keep reading some more of this. Go ahead.
Verse 5. If her father disallow her in the day that he heareth not any of her vows or of her bonds wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand. And the Lord shall forgive her because her father disallowed her.
Right. So that's what basically the same thing we've been saying, that the father has the ability to disallow the vow. So with Sister Jordan and Brother Nate, if Nate say, nah, we going out to dinner tonight, ain't no fasting for you. Then when he hear it, then he can make that call, and Sister Jordan is not in trouble for what she said that came out of her mouth. And neither with the Lord, and neither is Nate, because when he heard it, he was like, hey, I said we ain't doing this. You should have came and asked me first, but it's all good because we just not doing it. That's how. So the man is the authority for one over the daughter. Keep reading.
6. And if she had at all an husband when she vowed, or uttered out of her lips, wherewith she bond her soul, and her husband heard it,
right,
and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vow shall stand, and her bond wherewith she bond her soul shall stand.
Go ahead.
But if her husband disallow her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered out of her lips, wherewith she bond her soul, of none effect, and the Lord shall forgive her.
So basically what we're getting at here is, like we said, the same thing that applies for the daughter is the same thing that applies for the wife. If the wife says, you know, like I was saying with Raquel said, we get Sister Malia $5. If I say no, then Sister Raquel would be calling Malia back to like my husband said. She ain't gonna just say no. She gonna be like, my husband said I can't give it to you. Sister Malia gonna understand because she know the rules of the game. But let's go over the rules to the scriptures. Let's go over to Exodus 23 now. This we're gonna see more, and after this we're gonna another marriage, and then we'll open up questions. So Exodus 22, I'm sorry, Exodus 22, and we're gonna pick this up at verse 16. Exodus 22 and verse 16. Exodus 22. So the father and the husband, they the head of the women of their in their lives, whether it be their child or whether it be the wife. They hold the vows. So just because a woman say she gonna do something, don't necessarily mean that she can when her husband hear about it. But if he let it go by, he hear and let it go by, then he can't come back weeks later and be trying to, I ain't want you to do that anyway. You should say something when you first heard about it. That's how that works. But the bottom line, what we understand is it's an order to it. That's all. And part of that order is that the head of this house is the man, because he's gonna carry that responsibility. Like if it all go wrong, it's gonna all go wrong on him. When the marriage don't work, most of the time, and you know, some of these sisters, they tripping out. I'm gonna say they don't. Like I say in Proverbs, it's better to be in the corner of a house than to be in the house with a problem woman. But as men, you know, that still fall on us. If it don't work, it still fall on us. You know, I know a brother and his wife, his ex-wife, you know, I say she went crazy. He say it was his fault. You swallow what I'm saying? Like he was supposed to try to figure it out better. I say she went crazy. But regardless though, he's taking the responsibility. I was supposed to make this work some kind of way. But Exodus 22 verse 16. When you get there, go ahead.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her.
So now we got a maid or a virgin here, and it's saying if a man entice this maid and lie with her, okay, go ahead.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
So it is saying he is married. It says he's supposed to endow her to be his wife. So that means he's supposed to now take the necessary steps, which we saw in some cases would be, it got to really be talked to the dead, you know, but it might not be no dead. You still got necessary steps to take, you know, like go get married. That's a necessary step. And it might be, okay, come up here before everybody, like, we recognize this as a marriage. Like, I'm not necessarily discrediting or crediting the law of the land so much to say that that's your only, like, oh, well, you got to have a piece of paper. Like, I'm not going to go that deep. But what I'm saying is you can't play that game, brothers. Like, okay, I got this sister, right? And, she going to move in with me, right? And we going to act like we married, but when I'm ready to put her away, because I ain't told nobody we're married. See, that don't work. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna make this vow, you make this vow before God and before everybody else. You see what I'm saying? This is your wife. You know, now whether you have literally went and got that piece of paper, I would advise you to go get that piece of paper. It makes it legal in the eyes of this land. You know what I'm saying? It gives you benefits in the eyes of this land. But at the same time, though, it needs to be some type of something that made this official. Something that made it official. That's all. Whether it was, like I said, it's just like if somebody, if Nate, you know, leave Big Nate out. Little Nate come in here and say, everybody, well, this is my wife. We did, you know, he got some girlfriend and he brought her here. This is his wife. Like, he didn't recognize, and all of us in here don't recognize that. You see what I'm saying? We like, oh, so that's your wife. And that's what he is. So when he start acting fine by his wife, then that we're gonna check him on that too, though. You see what I'm saying? Or when he decide he want to put his wife away, we're gonna see what we're talking about. Now, we see still though some things had to take place though. You know, because you got some people that's like my father-in-law. My father-in-law been with his wife for 35, almost 40 years. They ain't never had a piece of paper though. You can't say that ain't that man's wife. You know, some people like, oh, they were shacking up. No, after a while, they ain't shacking, like he ain't going nowhere. They have made a commitment. They have made a vow to be with each other. You know, like, so if you go back 200 years ago, ain't even no record of certain people ever getting married. That don't mean they weren't married. So all I'm saying is that piece of paper, I would advise you to go get it. But that's not the only route, or that's not the only means to say or declare that you're married. All right. What declares that you're married is when you start making these vows. And you making these vows with that individual, and you making that vow with the Lord, and you making that vow before people. All right. So it said, if a man entices a maid that is not betrothed and liable to her, he should surely endow her to be his wife. Verse 17.
If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virtue.
All right. So he's saying if the father even got the right to refuse it, you're like, nah, man, you right, cuz. You know, some folks ain't marrying my daughter. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. Like, nope, can't do it. So don't even come that way. So at any rate, that's marriage right there. So, you know, when you go and you're ready to, you know, lay the Rudy to the Tootie, just know you should, like we saw with well, you know, I don't want to, you know, we're gonna be live all that. I don't want to be too, but you know, you should take care of your business before you do that. But even if you went and did that, then lawfully you need to go handle your business with making this whole thing official. All right. It's like I know a brother. I said, look at man, you playing house. Like I need you to bring this sister around everybody, cause you ain't finna just act like, oh, I'm gonna be with her forever. You ain't finna act like you know that with me, and then but don't nobody else in the whole world know. It's just, you told her. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you come and tell me, I don't even know if she really know what she done. Like, that's what I'm saying, don't work like that. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is supposed to be something that's a vow that you make between two individuals, then you make it before the authorities, and you make it before, you know, well, you make it before God, two individuals, and then the rest of the people. Well, let's go over here to Ezekiel chapter 16. After we read this Ezekiel 16, we'll open up the floor. Plenty more scriptures I can read on this, but we're not going to do a whole sermon on it. But to answer your question, sister, the first wedding we can see in the Bible was that, you know, where we see like wedding, like we think a wedding would be with LeVan and his two girls. We saw some things that were important. Like we saw a law of the land. Like he said, our custom is to do this. You know, we saw an authority. Either way you want to look at it. The daddy was the authority. We also saw that about vows and how that worked. We saw that when it said, when if a man goes to entice a maid, well, that don't just mean a man goes to entice a man, oh yeah, you married. No, what that means is now you have to go and do the procedures or the steps. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I know we was in Ezekiel 16. We're gonna go to this Deuteronomy. I think it's 22. And then we're gonna go to the Deuteronomy. I think it's 22. I'm gonna know better when I see it. Yeah.
Could we say that that Adam and Eve was actually like the first wedding when God brought them?
Oh, absolutely. But they was the first wedding. Absolutely. No question. That's first. I was going to, but that's why we went and read that first. But what we didn't see is what we know as a wedding.
Okay, like
you see what I'm saying? But the words that was said there, we saw them talking about to Ezekiel, which is this is what you good. That's your question, might be somebody else's question, which is really the bond of your marriage is that you want. But we're gonna get that we're gonna get there. Sure. So we gotta take all the pieces that we put together. You can't have the spiritual without the physical, and you can't have the physical without the spiritual. You see what I'm saying? Both of them, otherwise you're playing with yourself. You saw if a man don't want to give his wife none and vice versa, then you're gonna give way for the devil. You see, and you trying to figure out why he out there doing that or she out there doing whatever she doing. But anyway, let's read this Deuteronomy chapter 22, and let's pick this up in verse 13. Okay.
If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasion of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a mate.
So he said, I found this woman that I thought she was a virgin, but she wasn't. Y'all ever seen Mandingo? So y'all think I'm being funny with the name, but this guy, Gentile guy, slave master, went and finally took his wife. But we knew as watching the movie that the wife had been raped by the brother. You see, like by her brother. So when he finally, because he slept with all the slaves, he was the first one to sleep with all the slaves. He's like, well, I know what maids or a bird's supposed to be like, and you ain't one. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at. So that can happen. You know what I'm saying? You can be like, nah, you ain't no virgin. Like, I'm sorry. You can tell this somebody else. So he said, if any man take a wife and go in unto her, and we talking about go in unto her, that is the only way that you can be one with an individual. Adults, think of what we're saying when we're saying go in to her. Go ahead.
Then shall the father of the damsel and the mother take and bring forth the tokens of the virginity unto the elders.
We talking about money. See, that's what a lot of times we don't, when you start looking at the Bible, you got to understand something. When a man takes a woman, that woman now belongs to him. That's why in Proverbs it says that when a man commits adultery, he lacks understanding, because he doesn't understand that you didn't just sleep with somebody, but you went and stole something that belonged to somebody else. You can't take that act back. If I go and steal that water right there, I can give him another water. He can just be like, that's the same water. But it ain't the same. You see what we read right here? She ain't no virgin. You follow what we're getting at. All right. So let's read some more. Go ahead.
Bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city.
So what we're getting at is just like when you get married, and brothers, these women take your last name. That's because they belong to you. So and everything in the house belongs to you. Dog in it because it's yours. You know how you get. You see if you really paid good money for something. You ain't gonna dog it. But since we don't pay no money for it nowadays, you see what I'm saying? And we just treat them how we want. But I mean, just think if you had took your life earns, you've been saving since you first ever got a penny, and you didn't broke it on this woman. You see, or like, look at Jacob. He worked 14 years for Rock. Like, you think you were gonna take care of that? You see what I'm saying? You work. But it belongs to you now. That's what people don't understand. That's why they don't have a level of respect for it. Celebrities constantly getting divorces because you don't belong to that person. Different. That's how you got a question. All right. Okay. Well, yeah. We moving it. We moving it. Go ahead. Keep reading. I know we need a couple of scriptures. I'm gonna let you have a question. Go ahead. Skip down. We go verse 20. Go ahead.
But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then bring her to the door of her father's house, and the men of the city shall stone her with stone, because she have wrought folly to play the whore in a father's house, so shalt thou put evil away from among you.
All right, now we're gonna look at this. Keep going.
If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die. Both the man that lie with the woman, and the woman. Shall thou put away evil from Israel.
That's what happened to Jesus. Y'all remember when Jesus, y'all done all heard of he that without sin cast the first stone, right? That's a real common saying. Okay, but what really took place in that scene was there was a woman they brought for the act of adultery. And they was like, what we supposed to do with it? They wanted him, Jesus, to stone the woman. But they wasn't doing it right. Because notice what it just said. You done brought the woman, didn't bring the man. Supposed to get stoned. So all y'all sitting over here wrong. So how dare you bring me her? But go ahead, read some more.
If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her,
go ahead.
Then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die.
See, but betrothed is like we done basically like we like engaged, but we basically the only thing we ain't did was finish the act. So it's like saying like it's kind of like how Jacob, you know, he was working for Leah. Or he thought for Raquel, but he was working for Leah. Let's say somebody else came in and raped one of them. Well, this really belonged to somebody else. It was like on like a layaway plan or something. You know what I'm saying? You can make a payment or something. So it's not on the shelf and you just be out here taking. You see what I'm saying? You know, it's a good way to try to get you to comprehend because that's how it's working now. You know, so it don't belong, it's not yours to buy off the shelf now. So for you so it's like you went behind the counter and stole it. So therefore you punished for that. So that's what he was saying when he was like, if they was betrothed and you slept with this person, then you was gonna get stoned. But the woman was okay. Go ahead.
The damsel, because she cried not.
Oh, wait a minute. If she didn't say nothing, right. She don't say nothing because she's supposed to be saying something. Go ahead.
The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he have humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from among
you. You see how it's putting that betrothed, but it's saying our neighbor's wife. You see what I'm saying? Because this is something that has been, it's something that has been recognized throughout the whole community, although it has not gone all the way through to the final stage, like Mary and Joseph. See, Mary was betrothed to Joseph, but they hadn't done nothing, obviously, because Mary was a virgin. But if somebody would have tried to sleep with her, it would have been a problem. Because she belonged to Joseph. That's why Joseph said, I'm gonna have to put her away privately, because that was his wife, even though they hadn't finished completing all the procedures. That's why I say, you know, it's more to just, being one that make you married. You see, it's the whole gamut, which is what we're gonna see in Ezekiel. But go ahead, keep reading.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lie with her shall die. So
if you rape her, like you see her out there field and you rape her, that's what that is. You forced her, then we gonna kill you. We probably gonna all kill her too. You know how we get. Like we already looking for a fight. So when we got a good reason for one, we probably stump that dude to a bean post. Like, go ahead, read a little more.
But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
Go ahead. So like he's saying that's just like if somebody went and killed somebody. That's the same way as rape. That's what that's saying. Go ahead.
For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was no one to save her.
Right, wasn't nobody to save the situation. Like she was weak. Go ahead.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her.
Now pay attention to this one. So if a man find a damsel and you know he get with her and she ain't betrothed to nobody, all right. Now let's see what happens.
And they be found. Then the man that lie with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels.
Notice how we going back to the daddy or back to the authority. And he's going to pay the 50 shekels. And what else happened?
And she shall be his wife.
Right. So it didn't say he was his wife when they lied down together. It said, but now he's going to start dealing with the procedures, and he shall be his wife. Once you don't went to the daddy and pops, sir, you know, here's what I owe because me and your daughter did to do. You know, that's and so now you can proceed further. That's how it was in the scriptures. Go ahead.
Because he have humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. Right,
and that's what it all boiled down to. You ain't supposed to be putting me. Ain't supposed to be no divorce. See, that's where we all go wrong at. Ain't supposed to be no divorce. The Lord, look at it. If your husband is an idiot, you ain't got no business leaving him. Let the Lord deal with that. He will. Might not come home one day. You know what I'm saying? Just disappear off the face of the planet. You don't know what happened. You know, but the Lord can deal with that. That ain't on you. You pray about it. You pray for him to get better because y'all supposed to be one, and half of you ain't acting right. So really, you ain't home. Same thing with us brothers. You know, us brothers be slick and think we know how to run these sisters away without saying it. You know, next you know they don't ran away. Really, it was on you. You see, because you know how to. Us brothers know how to act right. You know what I'm saying? You hear a woman, you know what she want. You know, half the time she don't really want a whole lot like think like you know. Some evil women out there too, though. You know, I'm not saying everybody 100, but what I'm saying is look at yourself first when you deal with a marriage. You know, because we ain't supposed to be putting each other away. Matter of fact, before we go to Ezekiel, we'll look at one other spot. Let's go to Amos chapter 6. No, I'm sorry, Malachi chapter 2. Yeah. Malachi chapter 2. Just want to get a second witness that it ain't supposed to be no divorce. So like when I got married, I still see, you know, I seen the videotape. One of the Jakes that's in the word and filming everybody, it was like, man, y'all supposed to be married forever. And me and my wife were both in the word, we knew the rules of the game. You know, that was a serious statement of everything I heard that day. That was one of the statements that stuck with me hard, like this supposed to be forever. Like we supposed to be walking into the kingdom together. That's what we supposed to be doing, you know. And I'm not saying that everybody's case is gonna work so perfect. You know what I'm saying? Or that it's gonna go smooth for anybody. I didn't tell you we two people who gotta deal with ourselves first and then we gotta deal with each other. So that happens. But the objective is we supposed to be getting into the kingdom together. You know, give her Lebanon and give me Egypt. That's how I look at it. We can rule right next to each other when it's all said and done. Malachi chapter 2, and crack jokes. Malachi chapter 2, and pick it up in verse what did I say? Malachi 2. Just in 16. Matter of fact, started 16. Malachi 2 and 16. Thank you.
Okay. For the Lord, the God of Israel, said that he hateth putting away, for one covers violence with his garment, said the Lord of hosts.
So he said he hates for a man to put away. Go ahead.
Therefore, take heed to your spirit that ye deal not treacherously. Keep going.
Yeah.
Ye have wearied the Lord with your words.
So he said, therefore, where you at?
17.
I don't think that's the one I'm looking for. It says something about the wife of your youth, but yeah. Well, that's okay. Let's just go to Ezekiel chapter 16, and then we'll open up for questions. Yeah, I thought he said, don't put away.
Not deal treacherously against the wife of your youth.
Yeah.
That's the one before 15.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. I'm sorry. Read that verse 15. I'm sorry, y'all. Read verse 15.
And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the spirit, and wherefore one, that he might.
Nah, let's do 14. I'm sorry. We're going to start at 14 and then read 15. Go ahead.
Yes. Yet he say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant.
So notice something here. He's saying that the Lord is bearing witness to you and your wife. That's like he bearing witness. See, you got to realize the rules in the bedroom even done changed. The bedroom is undefiled. You know what I mean? When I say the rules in the bedroom, basically what I'm saying is, like, don't think the Lord don't see what you do, but you pretty much can do what you want to do with it. I know. But I'm saying, okay, the Lord watching. Yeah, you watching. Know what you thought? You thought he closed his eyes. I love my kids. My kids close their eyes. But I'm saying, you think the Lord be like, all right, look. Nah, he know what's going on. That's what I'm saying. But the bedroom was undefiled. What I'm saying. But with that being said, though, understand that just like he knows all your moves, husbands and wives, he know them all. Go ahead, keep reading.
And did not he make one?
Mm-hmm.
Yet had he the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one? That he might see a holy seed, therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of their youth.
So he said that he might seek a godly seed, but he said, therefore take heed to yourself, to your mind, to your spirit, and let none of us deal treacherously with the wife of our youth. All right. But now let's go to Ezekiel chapter 16. Then we'll open up for more questions. So you take all these pieces. So, you know, just so you know, we come to here on the Sabbath and we have handouts with the scriptures on it. You can bring a pen and write on the back if you need to. But when we do Bible study, y'all might want to bring a pen and paper. We cover a lot of scriptures. We cover most scriptures during Bible study than we do during class. And you might want to take some notes. And when I mean take some notes, I'm saying like I have a notebook and I can show it to you at class. You want to look at it. Where I was going, the class I was supposed to be teaching today, like when I tried to put the class together myself, it turned out to be the exact same class that Brother Danny did 11, 12 years ago. But the way I knew that was because of the notes that when I went over the notes. It was like, so what I'm saying is the best teachers are the best students. That's what I'm saying. So make sure you take some good notes. Like, don't just put down the verse, right next to your verse, even on the paper that we get you. Bring a pen in here, write on your notes, like, okay, this scripture, like today, moves in Isaiah 63 with the Holy Spirit. Oh, okay, it's called the Spirit here. Oh, it's called ghost over here. They didn't see God right here. You know, whatever the case, man, take some notes, y'all. Even if you take notes, never look again. It's gonna help you actually, because you actually put in some effort there, it's gonna help you to recall these things. All right. So anyway, Ezekiel chapter 16, and we're gonna look at the marriage between God and his wife. And what he does, his wife is the children of Israel. He married all of us. All right, we're gonna see how he does this and the way he the lingo that he uses to describe this marriage, because he wants us to be married to our wives. So he married his wife. That's why Paul said, "I have espoused you as a chaste virgin to Christ." Ezekiel 16:1. Go ahead.
Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, call to Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, Thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
All right, so this is what he's doing first. He's going to tell Israel a whole life story. So the first thing he's saying, you was born in the land of Canaan. And what he mean by you was born in the land of Canaan, not that your mama and your daddy was a Canaanite, but when I took you out of Egypt, I gave you Canaan's land. So this is where you start. You started off in their land. So you was born in the land of Canaan. Go ahead.
Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite.
Not that your father Jacob or your father Isaac was an Amorite or a Hittite, just that it was their land. Canaan's land, the land of the Amorites, the land of the Hittites. The Jebusites, exactly. It was a whole group of people. All right, so this is the origin of Israel, this woman. Go ahead.
And as for thy nativity, in the day that thou was born, thy neighbor was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swallowed at all.
All right, so he's talking about his nation Israel, but notice how he's talking about a baby. We in Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 4. He said, as for the day of thy nativity, when you think of the word nativity, you probably think of Jesus in the manger. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think of. So, you know, so therefore it says, as for thy nativity, in the day that thou was born, thy neighbor was not cut. So he's comparing now Israel to a baby right now. All right, go ahead. Verse 5. Go ahead.
None I pity.
He said, no, you wasn't swaddled. Swaddled is like when you take the baby and you're doing like this, you put them all nice and tight. Well, he said you wasn't swaddled and didn't nobody pity you. Meaning you was like that bastard child. Yeah, didn't nobody like you as you know, this baby. You know how you see some of those babies, little pretty little thing, everybody like that. Well, this one of them babies that nobody like. Talking about us. You know, he's like, nobody want us enough. Right. Don't get that big head baby. Right. But he's talking about Israel. Go ahead.
None I pity thee. To do any of these unto thee.
Go ahead.
To have compassion upon thee.
Go ahead.
But thou was cast out in the open field, to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born.
Right. So he basically like, you know, you one of them babies, not the one they found in the trash can, but you one of them babies that somebody like to open their door and what the heck? You know, that don't even happen. He said, but this is what Israel was. Go ahead.
And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thy own blood.
So now the Lord is saying to this woman, this young child, though, but eventually it was getting to grow. We just got the birth. So then he said, when I passed by you and I saw you polluted in your own blood, go ahead.
I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live.
Right. And this is what he was trying to tell Israel, like when he was bringing them up out of Egypt. He's like, live. All right. So when he saw them, he was like, live. Go ahead.
I have caused thee to multiply as the blood of the field, and thou hast increased and waxed great.
Right. He's talking about as a nation, y'all done begin to grow more and more people. Go ahead.
Thou art come to an excellent ornament. Thy breasts are fast.
So you notice what he's still talking to Israel as a nation, but now he's saying now you got some, you don't grow up a little bit. Now your breasts are now fast. Go ahead.
And thine hair is grown, whereas thou was naked and bare.
He's like, so you know, your hair was grown, your breasts were fashion, but you know, I'm looking at you and you ain't got no clothes on. This is what he's saying about this woman. He was like, you was naked and bare. Go ahead.
Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee.
So the Lord said, well, I passed by you, talking about Israel now. You know, but we're gonna understand what he's really saying after we read. Go ahead. Start at 8 again.
Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love. And I spread my skirt over thee.
So when he say he spread his skirt over thee, you know, that's the relations part. Okay, but watch what he compares the relations to. Go ahead.
And cover thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee and enter into a covenant with thee.
Right, that's what that is. That's entering into a covenant with your wife. When you about to make that relation, because now y'all becoming one. You see, and this is what the Lord is comparing. The Lord is comparing him becoming one when he gave the covenant to the children of Israel. That's when he gave the commandments to Israel. And when he told Israel everything that, you know, when you keep these commandments, and they say, yes, everything we heard, we'll do. There was a marriage in Exodus 24, actually. That's what the marriage was, 23. Whereas, yeah, when they sprinkled the blood on the people, all that good stuff. That was the actual marriage between God and Israel. Or just like you get married at your baptism. Because that's what you're doing at your baptism. You coming into a vow with God. So he looking at you like, oh, now is the time of love. So what does he do to his wife? What do you do to your wife when you get it? Read some more.
Saith the Lord God, and thou becamest mine.
So notice what it said, and you became mine. Once we made this covenant, or once I covered your skirt. Go ahead.
Then wash I thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil.
Right.
I clothed thee also with broad work, and shod thee with badger skin.
See, so now you mine, so now I went out here and I decked you out. I made you look good. This is what he's telling Israel. I put some badger skin and some silk on you. Go ahead.
And I girded thee about with fine linen, and I have clothed thee with silk. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands and a chain on thy neck.
So he's not saying per individual he did this. He's saying as a nation I made you look good. That's why when Bathsheba came, the lady from Egypt, I think it's Bathsheba, Queen of Sheba. Yeah, that's why when she came to see Solomon, she was like in awe at all the beauty. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, it's a beautiful thing for y'all to have a king so wise. This is what he's saying when he say, well, I put an ornament upon your neck and a jewel, a chain on your neck and decked you with the ornament and put bracelets upon your hand. We're going to read all the way down till we get to about 15. Go ahead.
And I put a jewel on thy forehead and earrings in thy ears and a beautiful crown upon thine head.
Right. So that's why it's okay for you sisters to look good. You know, you ain't got to be coming out looking all like a scallywag. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, you don't, because you got to understand that you do got a husband. So, dress the part. If that's what, you might don't care. Then that's what, but what I'm saying is don't be acting like, well, I serve God, so I'm supposed to be meek. Yeah, you are. You are. What beauty of you is supposed to be of a meek and humble spirit. But that don't mean that, you know, you looking like a ragamuffin every time I walk in. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, because when I go out in the world, look what you putting me up against. Yeah, and I'm not trying to, but dang, every time I walk in here, you know, you see how the Lord, how Israel looked to the Lord. I made you look good. So you'll be something I want to look at. All right, but go ahead, read some more.
Thus was thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen.
You're talking about this woman. I made you look good. I gave you the finest clothes, whatever. Go ahead.
And silk and broidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey, and oil.
Go ahead.
And thou was exceedingly beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom.
Then talking about a nation. He said you was exceedingly beautiful, but you prospered into a kingdom. Go ahead.
And thy renown went forth among the heathen.
Everybody knew about you for what?
For thy beauty. For it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith the Lord God.
Go ahead.
But thou didst trust in thy own beauty,
right,
and played the harlot because of thy renown, and poured thy fornication on everyone that passed by. His it was.
All right. So anyway, to the questions, to the sister's question, I'm gonna get you. To the sister's question, marriage is when you make a covenant with an individual, and you know you make this covenant with you make this covenant with God, you know, you make this covenant before the people, and you make yourself one. That's what marriage is. The first marriage in the Bible actually is Adam and Eve. The first time we see a wedding, we actually see Jacob and him getting his actual wives. Just like how the Lord got more than one wife, Jacob had more than one. So hopefully that answers your question, sis. Yeah. Terica, you want to go first or how?
Well, I just want to ask this pertaining to what you're on already.
She wanted to ask what we on.
Thank you.
And she was trying to ask first. Yeah, but that's why I asked her, because sometimes she be reserved. You want to ask your question now? You want to wait?
Could we say, because what I'm noticing, especially now that you brought that out, every time it's dealing with some type of covenant, there's some blood involved or something to an extent. Like,
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even when Christ died, his blood shed.
Yeah.
So when you do, I guess one of the reasons why it's so important that you don't commit adultery or fornicate, because once you do take your wife and create that covenant, that bloodshed is supposed to take place if she is a maid, as we would say, right?
Yeah.
In a sense, I mean, I don't know.
And I follow your understanding, but when you look at was it Hosea? The Lord told him, go take a harlot, marry her, have children by her. So I'm saying that can't so since it's not an absolute, then we can't always say, oh, well, there should be, you know, but a covenant is still a covenant and it's based on something. Because as we was reading, we saw, well, it was based on, well, I want to marry Brother Jordan's daughter, I got to break bread. It's, you know, when I break bread, 9 times out of 10, when I'm getting a receipt, we done made a contract. I paid for this. Right. You see what I'm saying? So you can't just, this ain't yours no more, I bought it off. You see what I'm saying? So regardless, there's some type of oath, covenant, you know what I'm saying? There's something that's being established in a marriage. It's not just, you know, young Nate just decided to go run whammy on the neighborhood, and then I got 50 wives now. Like, no, I don't want to say, you probably got gonorrhea now, probably. But 50 wives is not what you got. You see what I'm saying? But then we look at what Jesus said. So let's look at that. Is kind of funny. We look at what Jesus said in John chapter 4. I want you to pay this some attention. John chapter 4. Because do understand when you do make that covenant with a sister, right? I mean, when you make yourself one with a sister, you supposed to go into, you know what I'm saying? You supposed to bind that contract. Right. You see what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to just be. You can't just be running like you ain't no beast. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? We human beings. That's the difference between us and them. Beasts just run around. Dogs just run around, hit anything. Right. You see what I'm saying? And the female dog has 16 dogs when she in heat. You see what I'm saying? That's the animal kingdom. We not the animals. We die and we go to heaven or hell. When they die, they just go back to the dirt. That's where they stay. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, what you say? Kingdom of heaven. Oh, I said heaven or hell.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well, we
at some point.
understand.
Yeah, at some point we go there to heaven. Heaven's gonna be on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody else did me like that. Yeah, well, we go to heaven, which is gonna be in Jerusalem on the earth, or hell. You know, but dogs don't get up in the resurrection. Period. They not gonna see the second resurrection at all. So we're not like them. So don't act like them. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm really getting at. You know, the animal kingdom act like wild animals. We supposed to, man, that's his wife. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line, like I said, like, every man has his own wife. But watch this though, John chapter 4, and let's pick this up in verse. I like this conversation. No, I had to start it at verse 14. Yeah, so it's the Samaritan and Jesus, right? And peep this now. Go ahead. 14? Yeah, start at 14.
But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst.
Mm-hmm. So Jesus, they had a well, and Jesus like, man, you need to try to get that water from me, because I got that word of life. But go ahead.
But the water that I shall give him shall be in him, a well of water springing up unto everlasting life.
Right, go ahead.
The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw.
So he said, get it to me then. You got that water, I ain't gonna never be thirsty. Get it to me. Watch this though.
Jesus said unto her, Go call thy husband and come hither.
Slick story. So Jesus saying, I got the word of God for you. I can get you right. Right. She said, give it to him. You really know what Jesus saying right here? You need to you need to handle your business though. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to repent of what you're doing. That's what he said. So, but you said, well, Jedi, how you know that? I know the end of the story. Right. So what's going on right here? Said the woman answered no. So Jesus said to him, well, go call thy husband and come on. So you and your husband come back. Now watch what she said. Go ahead.
The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Jesus said unto her.
So the woman like, I ain't got no husband. You know what I'm saying? I'm not married. So just follow what she's saying. I'm not married. But watch what happens. Now, go ahead.
Thou hast well said, I have no husband.
True, you ain't got no husband. But
for thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband, and that saidest thou truly.
So basically, what he's saying is, you running around here sleeping with folks and you ain't get married to them. That's really what he said, because he like, well, the one you with now, you right, ain't your husband. You saying that's true. But you keep sleeping with these dudes. Right. That's why, so you need to get yourself straight. That's why he told her, well, go get your husband, because she knew how she was acting. She was being, like we like to call, promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? And the one you with now ain't even your husband. But understand what he said. You're right, it's not your husband, but you keep making yourself one with these men. You know what I'm saying? You playing the game like you married, but the reality is you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing to be married. Otherwise, it would have just been one man. It would have been number one. It wouldn't have been the other 6 behind or the other 5 behind. All right. So, and then watch what she gonna say. Read verse 19.
The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet.
Yeah, like you got to be knowing something. You gonna be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you called it out. So anyway, but I just come here just to show, that in this case, you see that her playing this game, her sleeping around, is like you were supposed to be marrying these men. And that's what our youngsters really need to understand. And old sisters, the young girls out here playing the hardest way. Anyway, question? Any more questions? You got yours, sis?
Oh, yeah. So you was on the topic with marriage and all that. So that was basically until that woman actually said, I do. That her head is not.
Her head is God until she make that covenant. But again, until she made the covenant to be married, to be one with somebody. So, but it's back to this Exodus 22 again. Go read this. Exodus 22. Read that verse right there. Go ahead.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
So what it's saying there is rules. The rules is if we gonna put the rule to the tutor, then we gotta handle our business. You know what I'm saying? Nah. So that don't mean when he put the rule to the two that they married, but you need to go handle your business now, according to the Lord. Otherwise, you acting just like that sister that we read in John chapter 4, where you sleeping with this dude, but this ain't your husband. To answer your question, this is not just gonna be one person. It's not a one-sided relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like this has to be a covenant between two people. But we can't fool ourselves either. If we're gonna do what the book say or not. So if I'm gonna sleep with a woman, then my job, my rule is, what I'm supposed to do is take her to be my wife. And with that being said, then I'm her head. Now, if she ain't my wife, I ain't her head. That's just how that works. I'm my kid's head. I'm my wife's head. I'm not Sister Malia's head. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not my wife. Even if that's my sister, I'm not her head. You follow what I'm saying? So that's it. Now, at the same time, Sister Harris, for example. Sister Harris, you're not married, are you? Okay. So Sister Harris is not married. So her head is Christ, but Christ can set up a church. You see what I'm saying? So there's still somewhere where she can go to seek, to get, I guess we could say, head guidance from. You know what I'm saying? Or head leadership from. Because, she can get on her knees and pray up by all means, and then she can go to her pastor. Brother Elijah, me, Brother Nate, saying she can come to us. So there's still that order of the safety net there. But, it's not like, well, since she's widow, or since she don't have a husband, you just out of luck. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't work like that. So the Lord is, because the head ultimately is the Lord, like we read, and then it moves down to the husband and then to the wife. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have no husband, then it's just like even with brother, let's take Brother DeMarcus. He following like me as I follow Christ. So he's still seeking wise counsel, even though he the head of his home. He's still seeking a level of wise counsel from somewhere. Otherwise, he's gonna screw that crib up. You see what I'm saying? So he's still, even though we heads of homes, we still gonna put ourselves in subjection to some type of order that God has established. So, but when it's all said and done, though, to answer your question, if you ain't married, head is God, and if you are married, your head is your husband. So that answers your question. Go ahead. What's next?
So if that's the case, and if you're not married, not married, or you are married, and your husband, then at any point in time, regardless of what's going on, even if you're wrong, in the detail you're saying, then you just gotta suck that up and just go on and keep it going.
Absolutely, according to what we read. If my wife comes, now look at him. If
it's dumb advice.
We're gonna get on that. Dumb advice and right or wrong.
Well, you know it's wrong.
Right, like we talk wrong is sin. Like don't go if you, like, for example, if your husband tell you to go and go to Kroger's and steal the diapers. Like, all right, you can go steal diapers if you want to and think that you're gonna be on your husband. It's gonna be you the one that's getting locked up. You playing fool. You see what I'm saying? So if it's against the commandments of God, then you're gonna deal. You're gonna have to back up off it. And then you're gonna have to suffer that with your husband. You see when I say you're gonna have to suffer that with your husband, like your husband might, like let's look at this Matthew chapter 10 real quick. Oh yeah, we're gonna get that. Matthew chapter 10 real quick. So if you're gonna serve God and your husband gonna tell you to go against God, then don't do it. That's gonna cause a problem. It's just like let's say one of these sisters trying to get to church and your husband like, nah, you ain't going to church. But you like what the Lord said, I gotta keep a Sabbath with that. So that's gonna create animosity. Well, the Lord said, I ain't come to sin peace, but a sword. That's what we're gonna read. Matthew chapter 6 and pick it up in verse Matthew chapter 10 and pick it up in verse 34. 10 and 34.
Think not that I'm come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father,
Go ahead.
and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foe shall be they of his own household.
So, you know, it may be that it's some controversy between a man and a woman. If the husband is telling his wife, go out there and play a harp. You know, it's some men out there who be pimping out their wives. You know what I'm saying? Or if you like, you know, eat pork, or you gonna eat the shrimp, Andy, man. You know what I'm saying? That's like, no, you gonna have to buck that. But if your husband is giving you some foolish advice, like telling you, you know, we gonna put all our money into the penny stocks or Toys R Us stocks, you think that's stupid? I mean, I'm saying though, he run the house. He's the head of the house. He didn't just tell you to, you know, disrespect God. He just said this is where we're gonna make our move next. And you might don't agree with it. That's why there is an order, because somebody has to make that final decision. And you don't think like him, he don't think like you. So if you really don't agree with it, and you need to know your husband well enough to be able to hold the conversation on, well, how do I get him to see my way? Even if it's bringing him some cherry pie. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, be wise. Like when you see Rebecca, she was like, oh, I cooked the venison for Isaac. I got you on this. You know what I'm saying? Because she knew what it was going to take to get through to her husband on that level. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying you need to know your mate. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line is, according to the order, is the father, son, and husband, and wife, kids. You know what I'm saying? That's the order. And God style. I mean, you know what I'm saying? More?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So like with all the women or couples or people, I should say, that are running around in 2014 that are jumping from person to person and might be engaged to this person today and that person tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, does that come with punishment? I mean, I know it comes with punishment, but it's like at that point in time, this man asked me to marry him, and I'm with this person at this point in time, and now I don't want to be with this person again. This doesn't happen, and now I'm on to the next, and I'm dating this person. Now
Yeah, the Lord will punish the world for its iniquity. So, I mean, yes, like, you know, you won't, look, you know, like I say, any end at the straight gate. Many gonna be which go through the wide gate that's gonna lead to destruction. Like, we gonna, that's where we gonna go though, just because you said that. Matter of fact, just turn to Ecclesiastes while I keep talking. Turn to Ecclesiastes. But the bottom line is, you gonna, like, the world is gonna pay for everything that it do. Chapter 8, that's what we want. The world gonna pay for everything that it does. The Lord say that the whole earth has been defiled by the inhabitants thereof. We'll read that next. You know, but he's saying because they don't broke God's law. So no, the world gonna get punished, but just because the world do something, don't mean it make it right. Just because, like right now, the whole world, you know, homosexual, it ain't a show come on TV now where they ain't got two gays. Yeah, you're right. They never said, why gotta be two guys? I'm so sick of scandal now because I can't even watch the whole show because I got to keep that. Like, this is sickening me. It don't matter what it's sickening. It's not just that show. It's any show I try to watch. You know what I'm saying? So the world says something don't mean I'm about to. You see what I'm saying? I know where there's lead. That's gonna send me to hell. That's the punishment. Let me see Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. Go ahead.
Because your work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart is fully set in them to do evil.
Keep reading.
Though it's to do evil 100 times.
So that's what we're getting at. You know, somebody even slept with 100 women. Go ahead.
And his days be prolonged.
And he done lived to be what my man Playboy Mansion do Hugh Hefner. You know what I'm saying? Like he getting older and older, right? He in his 90s now. Just because that happened. Go ahead.
Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God, which fear before him.
Right, it's gonna be well with them that keep these commandments.
But it shall which are as a sheep, fear not before God.
But at first it said, though a sinner do evil 100 times in his days be long. Then it said, then it said, neither shall he prolong his, which are as a shadow. What it's saying is, he life. So when it's all said and done, we need these commandments so we can live forever. We doing things different from the rest of the world so we can live forever. Not so we just be but a shadow and we burn them in the fire. He ain't trying to go. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, we started at verse 11, 12, and 13. Chapter 8, because sentence against evil is not executed speedily. Sentence means your punishment. Therefore, the heart is fully set to do evil. So because men don't begin to do, therefore men just go, they do, they feel like they get away with it now. So they just go do it. You know, you'll go ride off, they was getting away with it, but they caught up with it.